What's up, my friends? All of you who have so graciously chosen to show up here today. There's absolutely no biting sarcasm in these remarks, of course, cause why would there be? Um, 'Cause you all are, here after all, right? All right, wait, why my camera not turning on? Oh, there we go. Alrighty. No, I'm not too bitter about that. I'm gonna fix the lighting though. Alright, it's fine. I expected attendance to be low on the first day of class. That's why I'm here. To to make some content. To show you why you should have shown up. Alright. First, I like to get through a uh, preliminary introduction of myself for people who are not familiar with me politically or otherwise. So I wrote a little bit of a speech here, and I'm gonna try to read it without breaking down laughing. Oh man, I have to read scripted content. That's a little difficult for me, but we're gonna do our best. I like to keep it off the cuff. All right. I'm your host, Eli Stern. No affiliation with anyone else. That is a chosen name, and I have no awareness of public figures with that name. Until I started telling people it, and now I've heard of this guy called Mark Joseph Stern, some journalist dude, and Howard Stern, some radio host. No, I just like the name Stern. I'm a community activist and an organizer from the Phoenix metropolitan area. My political awakening was in 2016, as I watched Trump rise to power and abuse his authority to enrich himself. I watched as he was stationing military personnel in his own hotel and making them pay full price to his own real estate empire. I watched when he was misusing campaign funds to hush prostitutes. I watched when he was attempting to bribe the president of Ukraine into digging up dirt on his political opponents. I watched when he was declining to take action on a deadly coronavirus which took my grandfather's life. May he rest in peace. The last 2.5 years of my time in high school were the last 2.5 years of my time in high school were primarily online because of the pandemic he neglected. I watched when he was inciting a violent insurrection on the United States Capitol to overthrow the democratic process in an attempt to enshrine himself as the permanent ruler of the United States. When I was coming of age, I heard my president make phone calls to secretaries of state begging them to fudge vote counts, and days later, I saw Confederate flags enter the capital of the United States for the first time in history. I don't think any other generation has had such a dismal upbringing as mine. I was born in 2003. I am literally incapable of remembering 9/11. But I will always remember the day that he finally showed that he wasn't just a bigoted moron, but a violent fascist through and through. That filled me with such anger. I abandoned my childhood dreams of designing quirky video games with my best friend and decided that I must take whatever action I can to turn this country around. My contribution to the world may be insignificant, but I cannot rest knowing that my apathy could have potentially made the difference. I believe we must fight for a better future, not just by any means necessary, but by all means possible. No avenue of potential progress can go unexplored. In 2022, I got involved with local politics for the first time. I collected signatures for a statewide ballot initiative and later knocked doors for the 2022 midterm election in Arizona. There I found community and I found purpose. I could see on my clipboards the tangible contributions to putting petitions on the ballot, and I could see at the doors that I was changing minds, and I was getting people to vote for the first time in their lives. Once the votes were counted, it turned out that Attorney General Chris Mays in Arizona won by a mere 280 votes. I know for a fact that over my 5 months, I talked to at least 1,000 voters at the doors, though probably many more. So I do believe that this margin may have been achieved by less than 3 canvassers just like myself. If I in 2 to 3, sorry, excuse me, if I and 2 to 3 other canvassers did not do that work, we would have a Republican attorney general who would be, probably terrible to minorities in enforcing things, enforcing laws in a discriminatory way, because that's how I believe Republicans tend to act when they are in such positions. I saw clearly that we have the power to change the course of history, even when it may seem insignificant, and so we cannot sit idly when there is work to be done. Most importantly, I believe that we have enough people who already agree with my policies in order to achieve them, but they do not take action because of a critical lack of information, passion, and sense of feasibility. All too often I'm told, yeah, I agree with you, but it could never happen. And so I'm not going to even try to help. This sort of response is the reason why things cannot be accomplished. I like to respond with an idea I've learned in my sociological studies so far. The Thomas Theorem, the idea that situations which are defined as real are real in their consequences. Just as a no smoking sign only stops smokers if they choose to respect the sign, so too does a cause only become hopeless when we decide that it already is. Even when there is not a light at the end of the tunnel, I believe that we have an obligation to keep on walking until we see the light at the end of the tunnel, rather than lie down and wait to die. That is why I've decided to dedicate myself to impassioning and engaging my peers with a critical dosage of hope, so that they too may get involved and pursue progressive action and policy. That's what this show is for. I want you to get out into the field, organizing your community and urging your loved ones to do what they can in order to make the world better. And now we're going to step away from the hard scripts. Don't worry, we're never going to do that again. I know, it was painful. I had to use my radio voice, and I hate having to use my radio voice. I want to talk like a human, because that's how you get things done. On a human level, with human interactions, trying to be reasonable. Now I'm going to do an audio test because I just looked at my phone and realized that I'm live and I need to make sure that the audio works. Now I'm going to do an audio test. Okay, absolutely, that is perfect. I'm still doing the radio voice. I might not be able to get out of it for the rest of the day now that I've, done just a little bit of it. Okay. So my goals for this show is make politics digestible, entertaining, and approachable because I want everybody to realize how much power they have in their own community. I don't think it's hard to get involved, and I want people to understand what the issues are and how they can get involved. So, this show is going to be first just covering what's going on so that people can see what's going on, get entertained. I'd hope that some 12-year-olds who have no particular interest in politics might click on this, seeing a funny title, and then get pulled over to the left and have a pretty better ideological predisposition when they grow up. I'd like to put a spotlight on local politics, namely Arizona, because that's where I'm from, but I think local politics in general across the country needs to be focused on. And though I do not have experience in, say, California or Montana or Minnesota, I would really hope to invite people onto my show to educate myself and my audience about local issues in those areas. So I will eventually establish a sort of call-in program so that I can have guests on the show and we can work together preparing a segment to educate people on what the issue is and how to get involved, how to help out, right? So when that does happen, you don't need to be a community leader to talk about the issues, but have an actual issue, not just like the tomatoes are too expensive at your grocery store and we need to talk about that. No. More like if you are aware of some grassroots effort or something, some labor exploitation, uh, union organizing, something. If you know about some petitions going on that aren't getting enough attention, need some more money fundraising or something. I don't know exactly what we're gonna do about that, but you and I can talk about it and figure out how we can get more people to be aware of it. Maybe we can put together some scripted video and use that as some literature that can be distributed and educate the people in your area about it. I'm definitely going to be making some scripted videos about local issues in Arizona so that I can send them around to friends and family so they can understand the full extent of those situations going on here. I can't believe I read all that in like 5 minutes, by the way. Alright. A planned upload broadcast routine, I'm thinking Mondays, just because that's the only day that I'm guaranteed not to be working or studying political science, sociology, and urban planning. And then I'll be uploading video segments throughout the week, hoping to speak with community leaders in Arizona and academics on issues and actions. I have a pretty decent network right now, but I mean, if I say some crazy things on here, maybe I won't anymore. I hope to continue and evolve the show's depth and informational value throughout the year as I continue to learn about Arizona politics. And if the show's actually like successful and entertaining and can turn a profit, then I might continue it after the November 2024 election. But if it's not, then it'll go into hiatus until the next election year, or it might never come back. But regardless of how it performs this year, how this broadcast performs, I want to try to continue to do this at least once a month, at least 90 minutes once a month until November. So we got about 11 hours here with each other. At least 11 hours. And if this turns out to be something popular that people enjoy, maybe a lot more. 11 and a half, 90 minutes times 11. What's that? I'm now a mathematician. I haven't taken math in 3 years. You figure it out. We got 11 segments, 11 broadcasts together. So we're going to make it near and dear to us.